few more seconds, he might have been tough call.
Yeah.
Yeah, quick thinking on board the Italians.
Was right in time. I mean, because we have this rule that you cannot, you can reset before 2 minutes without any consequences, and if you reset before 1 minute, it's a penalty. And then if you reset later, you are pretty much your race is over.
So what are we thinking here?
I'm thinking myself, just keep clear of everybody, because I always end up being the one that ends up with damage. So I just stick right over here. Everybody else can do what they want to do.
Yeah, for sure. It seems like the majority of the fleet has decided to go towards the leeward end of the start box, trying to tack in to come into the zone for the start. It's going to be interesting to see how the fleet lines up for this.
Tell about the pop-up regatta. You sailed it just a little bit just recently, no? Right? I mean, just today.
Yeah, so we have the JX40 pop-up regattas that we're going to start doing now. We're going to try and do it maybe once every couple of weeks or so. We'll see how it goes. But it was definitely good fun. We had a couple boats show up today, but there was very limited timing for people to know and get the times all sorted up. And we got a couple races done before we hopped into this stream. But otherwise, we're very excited to start, getting some more regattas out and doing some more racing. So be sure you'll hear from me maybe in the next week or so about the next pop-up regatta coming in shortly. So hopefully going to get some more people doing that. It's on the JX40, which is very similar to the AC75 in hydrofoil generation. And it's really good fun. And just give me a message and I'll help you out.
Real quick, Liam, what are the kind of similarities as someone that has sailed an AC40 themselves? What are you've played the AC simulator, you've played hydrofoil generations on the JX40. What would you say are the most similar in terms between maybe the simulator and the JX40 on this game instead?
Well, I'd say that maybe just the handling's slightly different, I'd say. I find that the JX40, depending on how you have the boat set up, it's actually a little more slippery. But I feel like the similarities wise, the controls are very similar. They make a lot of sense, and also how you would run the boat is quite similar to how we had the boat running on the AC40. Obviously, there are many different ways that you can get this boat running, but nonetheless, they all kind of add up pretty similar altogether, and a lot of...
But indeed, there was a tiny mistake over here, as you can see, just clipping the stern of Sweden boat while being on port. I think it's a tiny mistake, but basically which escalated to a really series of major collisions. When you have all 10 boats or 9 boats around at the same time in the mark, there is no room for that tiny mistake. Oh no.
Spain very lucky there not to actually be fully capsized, because that would have been the race gone and all those points they did get. But New Zealand did a very good job there to actually miss it all and travel a bit further around to get past the mark.
Yeah.
But yeah.
It just seems like a slight mistiming from Jack NZ on the Aussie boat just caused this whole pile up. Very costly.
And even Coob did very well to keep off the, it looked like they touched the Kiwis, but obviously nothing there, no penalties called.
That's where
so sorry, just one more time.
Right? Yeah, again, that's supposed to be the wireless connection, because other angle shows that he does knock the back.
Such a tiny mistake over here. Really, literally, he was almost clear at the Artemis.
Yeah, Coob did well to basically see it all and basically bail out. But then he's got the Kiwis on the outside of him he's got to be wary of. I think he's got enough room to get through there.
I just can't imagine, what do you do? I couldn't even imagine being in that situation.
And look at that right now. Australia now
Going backwards.
moving backwards,
Yeah. Do they make the
entering
mark?
the zone, entering the zone backwards. And Canada is coming and really realizing that Australia entered there first and there is no room for them. Canada
Yeah.
has to completely bail out. There is a penalty for France. Just straight into the back. Yeah, it's no can do. But I think probably what Kub was trying to do is to get on the higher, just right behind them and a little bit on the higher lane, and just a little bit miscalculated the gap between the mark and Sweden.
Oh,
Nice.
oh well.
All right,
What a race.
guys. Do you? So speaking about Kub, that's the setup of Kub that he has on his. And do you think that the tool or the setup that the sailors have is helping or making it more difficult for the sailors actually to deal that difficult situation? What can you see, guys, from here that would maybe make it easier or difficult for Kub?
Yeah, mouse and keyboard is an interesting choice for full manual, but I have been told by various sailors, virtual sailors, that it is the way to go. I'd be interested to know what his foil control system is. Is it the mouse wheel, or is he using keys on the keyboard? Or yeah, I don't know.
That would be good to hear. But we at least have here Liam with his setup. So that seems to be helping you just to go and dodge the boats around, doesn't it?
Yeah, I believe that the wider monitors.
Round, doesn't it?
Yeah, I believe that the wider monitors, especially my main one, which you can see with the picture on it, it allows me just to see a little more of the course, so I can be a little more aware. And yeah, when I'm using my full manual, I also do use the mouse vertical axis for the ride height of the foils. So it's definitely a little bit to get used to, but once you get used to it and you learn it properly after a few hours, it's actually pretty simple.
And that little check.
All right, well, everyone's probably going to be a bit shocked and rattled from the last race, right? Like, how does that kind of affect you, Liam, going into this next one, knowing that something like that can happen? It hasn't happened before, really, but yeah. Yeah,
well, that's a great point. For me, I actually didn't see the event. People just said that there was a collision, and I just thought it was another collision. I'm not even going to lie. But yeah, I mean, for the people who actually were involved in that collision, it could go two ways. One person might say, oh, I'm going to be a little more cautious on the start. But then the other might say, oh, I need to make up points. So I actually need to be more aggressive and try and capitalize on others being more cautious. So, you know, we'll probably see here maybe a couple of boats really pushing the line and really pushing and being aggressive, while you might see others like a little further off being a little more cautious and conservative on this race. But we'll have to see.
Save. Just.
Kub decides to turn the same gate.
Interesting choice. I mean, it's such a, if we look up at the top mark here, the final mark, it's a pretty biased, you really want to be going for that right turn, don't you, Liam?
Yeah, you kind of do, for sure. I mean, my whole envisioning here is that if I take that mark that I currently did, it means that I have more time to make my two tacks than what I would if I took the opposite mark, which is what Just Someone You Know and the Spanish did. But you see, Egriffs and the Kiwis, they both made a pretty good decision for their times and tacking. Didn't try to push it too badly, so they did well.
True. Yeah, you're not actually laying it if you go that right turn, so it's still possible to go left turn and
right to the boundary and the edge of the ley line if you want to get it from the right side and you know, get up to the mark without any other manoeuvres.
Right.
Yeah, but
speaking about the connection issues, is that it's sometimes it happens, and I think that's what we also had in this game, that sometimes it looks that there is a collision but we also can get the view from the sailors can send their screenshots how it looks from their side, and yeah, the Empire Studio is just, let's look out here. We'll just look at it and we'll yeah, take that one
What a
into
setup.
account. Yeah.
Interesting. He's got a joystick there. See, I've got a HOTAS system, so I'm using a throttle and joystick myself for full manual.
He's got that on the right hand side as well. He's got the
Yeah, he's got a
throttle.
throttle. Oh, yeah. He's got the throttle.
So, but I'm not sure if
so
he
what-
uses it. As I say, he might only use a joystick for that with mouse. But
Is this guy playing
Yeah.
Star Citizen on the side? I got to hit him up for a gaming session. I'm quite jealous of all those buttons, honestly. That's quite fun.
Yeah, so RG Tyler gave us, and yeah, we saw. I think Egris was saying that he was actually planning to set this this kind of turning knobs to actually controlling the camber, which is, I think it's a really interesting idea. It might actually allow you to turn or actually change your camber really like fast and in a more dynamic way rather than pressing the button many times. You know what I mean? If you really need to do a very fast change.
Yeah.
What do you
it's
think,
really,
guys?
it's really it'd be good if the game actually allows it to connect. The control limits on HG are limited, but anything's possible if you tinker around. You can also get little adaptive circuits that you can connect to your machine that might be able to do it. But certainly, most stuff goes through a steering wheel and pedals, and go through a joystick. So yeah, if you get it to these displays, yeah, you should be able to get the knobs working quite nicely. Click on the performance analytics, I should say. Stats and animation on the right.
On the right, yep.
Yep.
Ooh,
Hope it works. Rightio.
Oh, wow.
Four races. Don't go
that.
to the final. Don't go to the final yet. But the 4 races.
Yeah.
So yeah, scroll down. It gives you a bit of a graph, which I don't know quite what it does, but it looks sexy. Places on there. Everybody's falling time. Keep going.
I think
my
even
goodness.
Sail
And then if you
GP
click on a player-
analytics team is gonna get jealous now.
Click on a player.
That. What is that? Sorry. Oh,
on a player.
race.
No, just a player. Player's
Where is
name,
it?
one of them.
Oh yeah. Okay. Mhm.
It will give you their individual things. And scroll down, and there's some insights.
Oh.
And scroll down, and there's some insights.
Oh. That is awesome. I
And then-
haven't seen that one
then-
yet.
Oh, it's just come out today. Finally got it working. Now go back up the page.
Wow. Mhm.
Click back to race,
Back to race.
and click race replay. Up
Race
the top.
replay on the top, yeah.
Yeah. And
My
go
goodness.
click play. Go click play
And I-
down the bottom.
Oh, this is so great, right? So this is how you can see where where there's a split, where is the compact. Okay, yeah, you can see that Liam is taking off now here, clear ahead and extending the lead. Yeah, that's exactly what it's called. Stay. Unbelievable. Hurling, this
That's-
is
that's
awesome. It's amazing, really. We really definitely need to dive in it, and I mean, like, we are like the same as.
Point, whether it's in the start or the
Yeah.
finish at some point. But
But,
99%, really. That is faultless.
It's just frustrating though as well, because you just don't know where it's happened, and you think you've got 100%, and you see that 99 does turn up. It's like, really. But
Could even just be a touchdown, rounding
Yeah,
a mark
yeah.
or something.
yep.
I think if you put your leeward hull in the water, that would even count, right?
Well, maybe it's from
40.
that race that he came second, because he just got under pressure. Little touchdown.
40 seconds to go. Cube on France.
Cube is coming really early now, right? I mean, to the start
Really
box, and the start box is extremely small now over here. There's really no time to kill 30 seconds here. Is there?
Well, unless you're doing what he's done, is just stop. But Got to make sure you're timing to get your foils back up. And we've got a split
Spain and Italy.
split sides from here. Yeah. This is like proper. It's a match racing. Turn just yet.
Yeah,
Trying to
France
cover
having a
each
bit
other.
of a doozy there. Being slow on the start line hasn't, didn't really work out in their favour. Oh, collision? Collision? Was that a collision?
Yep. But I think Coombs had the right of way there because he's on the boundary. So
Let's hear what
this
the
is
umpire
the
has to say.
umpire. Penalty New Zealand, relative France, not giving room to pass the boundary.
Okay.
Fall
Penalty.
behind France.
Right now over here, because this is a final. Liam in a very precautious situation. If he falls behind France, he has a risk to be third. But then if he doesn't fall behind France, he would get one position penalty, which actually again puts him in the third. So he actually needs to get to the first, and then he might actually retain his first place. So yeah, I think there is a lot of decisions right now going through the Liam's head. So what is he going to do?
But how would that work? Okay, so he's sailing on here. If he managed to take first out and the penalty was on France, and say France came in third, he would still retain second by getting that penalty taken off and not having to go behind France.
Yeah, we
Seems
could
a bit-
have also
bit-
umpire to go to discuss these things a little bit after the race, but actually he would probably end up third there because he
Still
will
third,
finish
yeah,
ahead of France, so he will get another point.
Yeah.
Fall behind France because it's only 20 meters behind France, and you are still kind of in fighting chance, right? Because by not taking a penalty, you are pretty much guaranteed to be third.
Yeah.
And if you fall behind France, you still have a chance to fight back.
And possibly with us, he's mostly still arguing in game or whatever because the distance Spain have pulled out here. He's just blown the other.
He's
two
running away with it.
Yeah.
Classic Spain.
New Zealand position penalty was not taken, so it's -1 position, moving from the second position to the third, and finish ahead of France, but it is already third position. So final positions is Spain first, France finished position second, moved up, and New Zealand position is third.
Well, there you go. Italy's position, not New Zealand, so to speak. Ilya,
Yeah,
any
all very
insight on
controversial.
that one?
Yeah, and I mean, there's obviously the difference with SailGP umpiring and our umpiring is that they have 6 people in the studio, and usually the setup is so that 3 persons are actually watching the boat-on-boat situations, and then there is actually 3 or 4, I think, if I remember correctly. So with the 13 boats on the things, usually it's 3 boats per umpire, and you are in the really good also position to then track. If somebody you penalized and they do not take the penalty, you actually keep on watching them and you will keep on reminding them that you did not take the penalty. And then obviously at certain point it might lead to the disqualification if it's really egregious. But they know what it means if they don't take it.
Well, there you go. You heard it here first. If anyone's out there listening that is interested in umpiring, I've been thinking about it myself. I've always enjoyed the sailing rules. I think they're the best rules of any sport. And if that stuff fascinates you, maybe we've got some openings on the umpiring team to give Ilya a hand.
And you can also go to the website and look up the rule book.
Well, definitely,
Very true.
definitely.
We've got an official rule book.
It's actually raising a really interesting now discussion about penalty points, because this event was a record in terms of the points given to the sailors. If we just look at that one, let me see. I think somebody calculated that it was 30 points, giving all together to sailors. Let me find the correct results over here. Yeah. So as you can see, there was a lot of penalty points for the sailors, and it's now a very interesting discussion. Maybe I'll see if our
Germany
umpires.
want to discuss it.
Yeah, well, I'll see if our umpire here just to discuss these things a little bit more.
But yeah, no. Rather than it being a what was the one?
That's any sailors who are sailing, just jump in and discuss. We are thinking about sort of how to treat the penalties, because what we are dealing right now is the very typical traditional way in sailing to deal with the penalty points which sailed on the provided equipment, for example, like equal boats, and usually the points go to the results. And having also my experience in water sailing is that you always make the decision on water within 1 to 3 to 5, maximum 10 seconds. You make a decision. That's how it takes. When there's a collision, it always goes to like maybe a couple of minutes to inspect the damage, then 5-10 minutes to discuss who is at fault and how to assign the points. And then boats, the same way as in SailGP and everywhere, boats can bring their own evidence and actually protest or ask for a hearing just to see if they disagree the points. So it's very easy that. Yeah, and I think just to summarize here, maybe some of the ideas that we had here. Please, sailers, share your thoughts on here. But the ideas is one idea is to have a separate kind of point system for collisions, and that would be similar what they have in Formula One with the their rank, not the ranking, sorry, but the license points.
License, yeah,
and I think SailGP is also a little bit testing the grounds with that, by having also their license and demerit points, which is, I think, right now led by New Zealand, isn't it?
Just a fraction.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, I think that might be an interesting point, which is basically we're kind of considering also what's that might arrive. We might arrive at the results much more faster, but at least for the next event.
Intentional, the idea that SailGP have as well is you're not to put your boat at risk of damage. It's like in any sport, you don't go intentionally out there to bang your car up or take someone else out. Accidents happens, but don't make it where it's blatant. And
that's why that's why I like the idea of this demerit point system, where if you reach a certain quota of fuck ups, then basically there is some sort of penalty for doing so. Maybe it can be joining the commentary team.
They
repercussion.
they just step down a week, or one of the regattas if it's serious, starts getting serious. But no, the rest of it's pretty good. The rules, it starts getting tough, but it's trying to make it where it's enjoyable as well, that it's not ruining people's lives. It's a balance of everything with the boat racing and everything else, and I think it's coming together quite nicely.
Indeed.
Kind of like focusing on what has been raised, but there's some ideas that we have right now also in this coming from the alternative system. If we might try to have a 2-day event and actually be able to run the real final in real live and stream that one. So that one, I think our one umpire can definitely handle 3 boats and definitely make the live decisions, so that we really can have decisions on live. But with 10 boats, I think we can run it a little bit before, so that we actually can make sure that the results there.
Yeah, sounds cool.
Just a proposal, we need to see. Obviously, it requires a little bit more time commitment from the sailors and switching, but that's really great. What I like about the league that we have here, that we have a lot of room for experimenting, right?
We're gamers at the end.
but we will make sure that it's on the stream next time for sure.
Yeah. So no, it's about
So-
getting all the information together in one spot. You know, we've got Discord as well. Sometimes it's hard to read stuff in Discord, and this should open it up of, you know, say stats, maps, regatta, team information,
Yeah.
the rule book.
Excellent.
So if you click on the rule book's there.
Ooh, nice. Yeah, we definitely need to go through these things and discuss the.
Yeah, so this is
What is
basically all
available
of
on the
yours off
site.
Discord. Yep. So it's there in word for word. So trim it up to suit it up and put through.
Fantastic. It's such a great work. I mean, definitely next one we are setting up our domain on that one, and on the next stream we're gonna dive in and just explain everyone what we have over
Yep.
here. So fantastic work. I'm impressed.